Yo, what up, nephews? We back for another edition of Ask Your Uncles. This your Uncle Junior. Just kicking it to you today. Here my guests. I got a special guest out here. I got Uncle Lo on the mic. Uncle O, how you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing fine, brother. This is Uncle O. Yeah. I'm here.
That's good. That's good. Well, brother, we're lucky to have you. We appreciate you taking out this time today to kind of come through and impart some of this wisdom on us, man. But like I do, man, I tell everybody without further ado, I really kind of just jump right into the content. So we're gonna keep it going, keep it moving, okay? Uh, in order for you to be a little bit more comfortable, we also want to let our nephews get comfortable with you. So I just ask that you give me a little background, little information, like what was your upbringing like? Was it mom, pop, mom, stepdad? How that was, and where you from?
Most definitely. So, well, I'm from Oklahoma. Grew up with both parents, and pretty much I had my the whole village. So everybody stood by each other. I had my uncles, great uncles, anybody you can name, and my upbringing was pretty dope. Grew up in a neighborhood where everything that you needed was right there. Your McDonald's, your school, your racetrack,
Yeah.
crawdad fishing. Not a lot of people know about crawdad fishing.
Okay.
When you think about Oklahoma,
Mhm.
Oklahoma, they think flatland,
Yeah.
breezy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it was dope, you know. Yeah, but
That's what's up. And where you at now? Where you at now?
so right now I'm in Killeen, Texas. Killeen,
Mhm.
Harker Heights, Fort Hood area,
Okay.
military, man. And
Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah. Well,
it,
thank you for
it's
your
it's
service.
good,
Thank you for
man.
your service. Yeah. Yeah. Hey man, like I know you said you're doing the military thing. Like, so growing up though, was that the dream? Like, what did you thought you was gonna be when you got older?
Man, I wanted to be an athlete, but I
Okay.
was small, so everybody knew how to play ball and everything. And growing up around your uncles and everybody else,
Yeah.
everybody was either a preacher or in the military.
Oh
And then if
wow.
they could sing,
Mm.
they go to the juke joint.
Okay.
So everybody was on the streets and everything like that. But I never really saw myself in the military until I got into college
Oh yeah.
and was like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I got too much going on. Lack of discipline.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta focus. So I joined the military.
Okay. Oh, you say you had a lack of this,
Lack of focus.
lack of focus.
I
Okay.
had too
Okay.
much discipline.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
had too much discipline. Yeah, every time you turn around, you'll see me in the principal's office or you'll see me behind some whip and lash.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So discipline wasn't a problem. It was just
Oh.
the focus area. Yeah, my focal point, it was like either me sitting up here trying to invest my time in sports,
Mm-hmm.
or trying to chase something that I had no business chasing,
Yeah.
you know. And I should have been chasing the right dreams and not the wrong ones.
Yeah. Hey man, we all live to go through that, man. That's what we
Yeah.
try to help these nephews navigate through that, man. And I kind of feel like you know it's more to that because you mentioned that your uncles and and your father and everyone was around, so obviously you had some mentors. So
Oh
who
yeah.
was like that one mentor that you kind of strive to be like.
Man, so I had a
Mm,
plethora of mentors.
mm,
So growing up, my folks they kept us grounded in church and everything. Not religious or nothing
right,
like that,
right,
but we stayed grounded. We stayed grounded in going to church.
right.
And if anything, like I said, we had playing football, and my dad was a coach and everything like that.
Mm,
So he coached us, and all my uncles and everything like that. They were all coaches as well.
yeah.
So like I had probably one or two of my favorite coaches
Mm,
that taught me how to catch.
mm,
My oldest brother taught me how to catch.
mm,
Speed came natural,
yeah.
so everybody was like honing in on what was the things to develop. So one particular coach that I had was his name was Verl Franklin.
Hmm.
This dude was a beast. They call him Chop.
Chop.
And
Okay.
Chop,
Oh,
man.
chop.
Yeah, chop. Not like
Oh,
pork chop, but just
yeah.
chop.
Okay,
Cause
okay.
what he
Yeah,
what he said
yeah.
was chop, straight to the point. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? He
Mhm,
said what he meant.
mhm,
You know, that one coach, and then I had a coach, Coach Hubbard,
mhm,
Robert Hubbard. You know, he was a minister, pastor, and he was also a teacher and a head coach. And he was one of my first influences in high school.
yeah.
And just like I said, just being around my folks, my dad and everything. My dad, he involved us with sports, and my mom and dad both took us to church and everything. So me being rooted one in God first,
Yeah.
everything else followed suit.
Well, that's what's up. That's what's up. And that's good that you had a lot of positive influences around you. Uh, but I'm pretty sure you seen a couple guys along the way that you kind of was like, you know what, I really don't want to be like that guy. Like what kind of characteristics that you kind of knew like you didn't want to have when you grew up?
Bruh, so we did have some misguided, you know what I'm saying, misdirections.
Yeah.
And we hung out with a certain few brothers that, that didn't have a right direction. Not saying that they didn't have an impact on our lives,
Right.
but some of them knew that, I guess, because what we had or what we shared in our family,
Mhm.
we tried to do the right thing, but just by their example, and not saying that they failed in life or anything,
Yeah.
but I knew about the gang violence and everything like that, and so I knew that that wasn't the direction that I wanted to do. And every now and again, I strayed away, and I wanted to be like one of them gang bangers.
Right.
So it was more like you a wannabe, you know
Okay.
what I'm saying? So when I realized I didn't want to be,
Yeah.
I stepped out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I stepped out of that light
Yeah.
because when you thinking down the line, when you at our age now,
Mhm.
we still mild mannered, mature and everything. At 40 now,
Right.
I'm like, dude, I can't go back home thinking of my peer as OG. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because what's an OG to a 17-year-old? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
An OG, when you think of an OG, you think, no original gangster. You thinking of somebody, like you said, mentor. You
Right.
thinking somebody who's gonna take responsibility, not just of their family, but responsibility of their actions.
Yeah.
So when you saw kids going to jail, at an early age,
Mhm.
you knew you didn't want to go in that direction.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a friend of mine. He does corrections and everything like that,
Mhm.
and it's like growing up, you hear terminology called the Berry House. You go into facilities called the Berry House. Next step is going to county.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From county, you going to the pen.
Mhm.
That's not what I wanted.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so he kind of put it in the day. He was like, nah, that ain't the path you want to go down. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I get that. And with that though, it seemed like you took heed to advice, but like were you a hard-headed kid or were you easily to, impart wisdom to?
I was kind of both. I
Mm,
mean, because I had the little mischievous side.
mm,
You get every now and again, so often you get a child that's what they say black sheep or middle child or whatever, that
right, right,
syndrome. Nobody wants to listen to him. Nobody wants to pay attention to him.
right.
So he basically wants to find his own way.
Hmm.
So I listened, but I was more so let me learn my lesson. Let
Yeah,
me learn my lesson. Let me learn from, you know, I guess from the dark areas,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And when they showed me, I had a harder lesson, because Cass was going straight to jail at
yeah,
15, 16 years old.
yeah,
And like you said, that's not the path that you want to see.
yeah,
And you like, yo, you got kids that at that age they having kids before they even start middle school and high school.
yeah,
That was what we were, you know, engrossed into growing up. And it
yeah,
was like, yo, man, that's not for me.
yeah.
You know.
Nah,
So I was a little. I don't want to say I was a hard head. I was
right.
more like a knucklehead. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
knucklehead was like, yo, keep out the fire.
Right.
Just keep out the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's one piece of advice that you kind of wish someone had told you when you were younger that otherwise you had to learn a little later in life?
Say it again, brother.
Like, what's one piece of advice that that you wish someone had told you sooner rather than later?
Man, a piece of information that I would probably tell somebody: if you're gonna learn from hard knocks,
Yeah.
don't do it by yourself. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Always take stride and into knowing that wisdom, it comes earlier than later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, it's like they'd rather learn later in life than
Mhm.
trying to just going through the growing pains early.
Yeah.
And I'm one to say, hey, I'd rather know now
Mhm.
than later.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
get that. I get that. And that's all right, man. That's all right. And so with that, like, would you say that you were kind of mature for your age when you were younger?
Actually, I was. Everybody thought because I was hanging around a lot of elders and everything,
Mhm.
they thought I was either square,
Yeah.
but at the same rate, I was like I was unique.
Yeah. Right.
So everybody was like, "Man, you're a lot wiser than you think."
Right.
Growing up at 6 and 7 years old,
Yeah.
and you thinking, "Hey, like I said, yeah, I was mischievous and everything like that, but I wanted to know. I
Yeah.
wanted to know from somebody else who'd been through what I knew I was gonna have to go through."
Right. Right.
So when I listened to the older gentlemen,
Mm.
and the cats and that I was growing up with, and I
Yeah.
realized that, hey man, it's hard. It's hard being hard at it. I'm trying to pour it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you, I feel you. And with that, like, so they always say, there's a big difference in perception in black and white, right? So, obviously they look at black people, they say, well, black people, they grow up a lot faster. So we're treated a lot like we're older than what we really are. You know what I mean? Whereas
Yeah.
white people, they kind of stunt them and nurture them and coddle them a little longer. You know what I mean?
Oh
So yeah, I would ask, like, how would a young black man know of whether or not he's an adult? Like, is there some kind of criteria? Is there a certain age that he reached where now he's a real man? Like, what? How would you characterize that? Like, as far as, like, when is a kid, especially a black kid, an adult in your eyes?
so you never really you can't give a book model
Hmm.
to it because it's like we live in a generation now that you have to have parents in the home, two
Hmm.
two individuals in the home, especially a father, because like I was never coddled.
Right.
Me growing up having siblings and then having both parents, I never was coddled.
Yeah.
So when I learned at an early age, I knew from there. I said, you know what? I gotta grow up. I gotta understand for myself. At 6 years old, when
Mhm.
I talk to the person that owns this home,
Right.
that I want to be an owner of a home one day myself.
Yeah.
So I had somebody teach me certain things, educating me at a younger age.
Mm.
So to develop and mature from 6 to 15, from 15 to 20,
Hmm.
it was like, you know what? Everything comes in different strides.
Right.
Everybody learns their mentality of discipline, maturity, wisdom, and everything
Right.
comes differently than others. And so I knew watching older,
Mm.
older for me was better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And being coddled, you see a lot of kids just because they wearing J's,
Hmm.
you thinking, I'm gonna get those before I can get my education.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of cats want to buy and purchase something that are tarnished just like that,
Yeah.
rather than spending time and saying, "Hey, I'd rather work for this than something that's just gonna fade away the next day."
Right, right. And so would you that good work ethic, would you basically say that's one of the top, characteristics that a young man should acquire, or is there a better one that you kind of subscribe to?
So I mean, it for an individual, it envelops both from where you come from,
Mhm,
what which character you have
mhm,
in your mother and your father,
mhm.
and it's just the fact that you can have, you know, you can have good, like the type of individual that I realized that I was becoming.
Right.
I was, I'm not an auditory learner.
Okay.
You can't tell me nothing to repeat it.
Right.
I'm a kinesthetic and
Right.
I'm a visual learner.
Right. So you got to
So
do it, or you got to see somebody do it.
exactly.
Right.
So
Right.
I would learn that way. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So a lot of people they hear one thing and repeat it just like that.
Right.
And some people get information construed. So I
Yeah.
can't, like I said, you ask me to repeat something, I
Right.
can write it down, but it's not gonna be exactly what you told me to say.
Right. No, I can
So
beat that.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 I'm
Yeah.
similar, man. I'm similar. I think I don't know, because my focus, like you said, was similar. That I didn't really pay attention a lot. Like I was
Yeah.
zone out, But
Yeah.
bet money if I read it, you know what I'm saying. Then if I
Oh
just
yeah.
looked at it real quick and I put two and two together, I'm like, hey, let me come. I'll go there. I'll show you what time it is. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Like
oh yeah.
I said, but you
And
couldn't talk to me sometimes. I was zoned out.
right. So a lot of times like people would be like, give it to me verbatim.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Give
Yeah,
me what you think you saw or
yeah,
heard verbatim.
yeah,
They be like, what we rapping about?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? What you need?
yeah.
You put it
Well,
in my hands,
mm,
I replicate. I might not repeat everything,
right.
but I can produce it. You
Well,
know.
that's what's up. Well, let me ask you this though, man. I mean, obviously, you had a lot of physical support where people that were, face to face with you, and you got that community based, growth. But like, at the same time, you did grow up in the same area of the MTV generation, where the TV was prevalent. It was often babysitter, and so you got to ask yourself, like, who did you see growing up, that was black that you kind of was like admired a little bit, as far as it's famous.
Famous.
Mm.
So the funny thing about it, like I said, I grew up as an athlete.
Right.
So my favorite person that I thought as a celebrity or famous or whatever
Mm.
was Jerry Rice. Everybody knows about his story. You
Okay.
know, he
Well,
grew up.
go
Go
ahead. Go
ahead.
ahead. Well, what
He
about Jerry Rice?
so my man, he came from Mississippi Valley State and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where he went to college. But his upbringing was his dad was like into masonry and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that, and so bricklaying.
Mm-hmm.
So he would go to his dad's job and
Mm-hmm.
learn how to catch and work with his hands.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much how I was brought up.
Mm.
So I thought the way that I worked would be similar to him. So I learned, my first job was before I was 12 years old. I
Yeah.
started pulling leaves and grass and getting 50 cents from my neighbor, Mr. Turner.
Right.
Mr. Turner was a janitor.
Mm-hmm.
He had his own business. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So when you say celebrity, the people that had their own jobs in my
Mm-hmm.
community that
Yeah.
were black owned,
Yeah.
those were my celebrities.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So when I started working, I worked for him from the age of 12 to 15,
Yeah.
you know, and then I started working on my own, going to Sonics and everything like that.
Yeah.
Worked there as a car hop and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I kept that job until I got to college.
Yeah.
So working for me was not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It was the association and team ethic and everything, work ethic
Mm-hmm.
that it was always incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
You learn a skill, you hone into that skill, you'll be successful.
Yeah.
So celebrity was if I walked anywhere and I did something,
All right.
that celebrity was my uncles, my
Mm-hmm.
dad.
Mm-hmm.
We'd go to their jobs. They'd be like, "Hey, that's my nephew."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody loved us as their kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like you said, what's up, nephews? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We
Yeah.
was everybody's nephews. We was getting trained by
Mm.
everybody.
Yeah.
They didn't even see us as a statistic or a
Mm,
stereotype.
mhm,
So I knew that I was being set up for success.
yeah.
No matter path that I was able to take,
Mm.
I was being set up for something.
And
So,
that sense of community, eh, it seems like it's a fairy tale in today's modern world, right? Because it's like the black community is just that. It's not a community. It's just, we just black people. We're not in a community. Just it makes me wonder what could, a young black man do to help strengthen a community. Like, how do they, make a community of their own?
so I don't know if you know about me being an athlete, like I told you, me coming into the military and everything.
Mm,
So with me being able to not say veer,
mm,
because I played football, I ran track, I played
mm,
baseball, and then
mm.
I got into professional boxing.
Right,
So
right.
with me boxing, I stayed from I started or got rooted into it at an early age,
Mm,
and then I started getting into it older.
mm.
And the thing is, with professional sports, you have to have sponsorship.
Okay.
It's just like the community.
Yeah.
You got people who sponsor you.
Mm,
If they invest in your life,
mm,
your lifestyle or whatever, you having sponsorship, they're
mm.
not gonna mislead you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Right.
that's what it was in my community. They sponsored knowing that, hey, this kid he's worth the time
Mm,
being spent, you know.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So what advice would you give a young athlete, young man that's saying, hey uncle, I think I want to be a professional athlete when I grow up.
Say that again, brother.
What advice would you give a young coming up athlete? He's like, uncle, I want to be an athlete when I grow up. What advice would you give him?
Man, it starts knowing that you got an appetite.
Mm,
You got an appetite for something.
yeah.
Whatever.
Your mute button. Yeah, your mute
Hey,
button. There you
I
go.
want to learn how to perform to my best ability. Not just because you got talent,
Mm,
you got a heart and a drive and
yeah.
invest opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and with that, how important is education, man? Like, would you
Yeah.
rate education more so than common sense, or would you kind of say, it's better to be, have more common sense than it is to have education?
That's a two-way street.
Mm,
So being educated, a lot of people can't afford to be educated. A
mm,
lot of people become street smart. You know
mhm,
what I'm saying? A
yeah,
lot of people. It's crazy because like you see a lot of people who are street smart and street wise, then you see a lot of educational people.
right.
And a lot of people like, for instance, you say celebrity. Like
Hmm.
me personally, I don't want to say, I invest my time wanting to be like Kevin Hart,
Right,
but tell you can tell he's very street smart,
right,
compared to like Dave Chappelle.
right,
Dave Chappelle is educated.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And it's like with him, a lot of people don't have to have a bachelor's, master's, or a doctorate degree to
mhm,
be, common sense.
right,
So I myself, if I had the opportunity, which I do,
mhm,
but I'd rather invest my time educating myself than just having common sense, because common sense is, it's like, it's far, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's
okay,
just, I don't want to say it's far fetched,
right,
but a lot of people put themselves in predicaments, because it's common sense to be like others.
yeah,
I was never wanting to be like everybody else.
right, right.
Mm.
No,
So
I could dig that. I could dig that. And so with that, it seems like you say you're basically an out the box type thinker, right? Like,
yeah,
what I mean? So, and with that line of thinking though, like, so what kind of, like, what if you got that kid, he's like, man, I really don't do school like that. Like, what kind of trade jobs, or what kind of, what path should he take, in order to, so he can make money, so he don't end up working at McDonald's for the rest of his life. And not nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, you know, most people end up in restaurants because it's a fallback. It wasn't the goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, for them looking forward, what kind of advice would you give them as far as like what trade jobs they might want to consider if school, the traditional college path is not in their sights?
So a lot of people are, patterned differently because based off of, I don't want to say just social skills.
Mhm.
A lot of people find themselves in going into trade schools.
Mhm.
Trade schools, Metro Tech, you know what I'm saying? Metro technology, Metropolis technology, or however you want to call it.
Right,
Finding a craft,
right,
because a lot of people are not set up, you know what I'm saying, for being educated.
yeah,
So finding that niche that they have, you
yeah,
know, I find a lot of people, like with me being in the military, I found a lot of people that were very well hands-on
right, right,
mechanic. They
right,
had they had a different mechanic mental
yeah,
than they did, writing down writing down everything that took a ninth, 10th grade education.
yeah,
A lot of people, they didn't go to school, finish school, got their GED, came into the army,
mm,
and were able to advance,
yeah,
career wise, just because they found their niche.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And then you find some who take the time
mm,
because they want education. They read more, they, produce more based off of what they could do.
yeah,
I don't know,
well,
man. Whatever you find fruit, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
What's gonna be fruitful to you is gonna be, for that community.
yeah. Well,
I
let
Yeah,
me
go
ask you
ahead.
this. Do you like what's a key ingredient to being good with your money? Like, how would you advise a young man to handle his money?
Man, just investing, putting money to the side for a rainy day.
Yeah,
A lot of times we give kids, you know what I'm saying, $20 and
mm,
they want to spend it fast.
yeah,
Tell them, yo, on that rainy day, you're gonna need that $20 for something.
yeah,
You're gonna need it for you can't always think buying shoes is
yeah,
that rainy day. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
You want it for a book, you want it for, not just entertainment,
right,
but you want it for something that you're gonna invest because they say they talk about stocks and bonds, they talk about CDs, they talk
right,
about certain things that basic like I said, it's investments.
right,
You know, spend time with somebody with a kid,
mm,
you think $20. This man that I didn't met gave me $20.
yeah,
You know, okay, if I'm willing enough to give somebody $20, to me, I would assume that they're gonna keep it,
yeah,
not just spend it on what simple thing that they gonna spend it just because they got a hole burning in their pocket,
right.
you know.
Yeah, yeah. And no, that's right. That's right. Cause like you said, you're right. You give a kid $20, it'll be gone in 20 seconds. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and I feel you that. And I asked that because it seems as though that we don't talk enough about financial literacy. You know what I mean? Like people just don't
No,
understand how to manage their money, and they learn that at when they're teenagers. That's when it all
right.
starts. When you first get that $100 for your birthday, and you just like, whoa, I got $100.
Yeah.
And
And,
a week later, that $100 gone. He's like, what happened to $100? In other
yeah,
communities, they're giving stocks and bonds. That's
right.
how it is. In Black community, we're giving, dollar bills. And I think that's probably why we don't hold on to them as long, because they're easily accessible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
And see,
yeah.
because the way I was growing up, we
Mm.
could see everybody on the stoop. You know what the
Yeah.
stoop is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You see every cat outside, they got
Mm.
$20 in their pocket.
Mm.
They at the nearest liquor store.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, dude, growing up where I came from,
Mm.
my school was right across the street
Mhm.
from Remington Park, which was a race track.
Okay.
It was next to a liquor store. It was next to a church. We
Yeah.
had like about on one block alone, we had 4 or 5 liquor stores. We had 8 different churches, and
Yeah.
then the racetrack right there.
Yeah.
So means of money was like, yo, what am I gonna put my money to?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That right there lets you know where your money was circulating.
Right.
And depending on the community,
Yeah.
we knew who was running the community where I came from.
Yeah.
So if you saw a condemned building,
Mm-hmm.
block, what I'm saying, blocks and freaking boards on the
On the window. Yeah.
exactly, you knew
Yeah.
who was running it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they couldn't afford to keep it open, the first thing they did was kick the black folks out.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you hear about my Thunder. You know what I'm saying? My Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah.
That's downtown.
Yeah.
That was black owned property.
Okay.
That was black owned property. Now you got Caucasians that own it.
Yeah.
You spending more money just to, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow, man. I remember growing up, I used to run downtown
Right.
just to come back uptown.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, now they got a sports arena. I'm like, dude, I'm not just rooting for them
Yeah.
and all that magic, what they call it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, y'all trying to put the black people out and send them up, you know what I'm saying? Send them up north. And I'm like, come on, man. Everybody ain't got that money.
Yeah.
Property value, it strikes.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a piece of advice that you're sentimental about, like something that was given to you at an odd time and just kind of stuck with you?
Man, I gotta check my history. So yeah, I had an uncle. I had an uncle tell me. He said, before you think you're gonna purchase you a vehicle, you might want to purchase you a home.
Okay.
If you think about it, think deep into that.
Yeah, like don't have a Lexus on 22s at your mama house when you can have your own crib and just hop that bus until you can get,
Exactly.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Exactly.
That's what's
And
up.
that stuck with me. It sticks with me constantly.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will buy a vehicle before they buy a home.
Yeah.
They'll invest in some rims and beats and everything before they purchase their first home.
Yeah.
And it's not just having a vehicle. That's basically what it is. Everything that you find yourself into is a vehicle into something else.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Your vehicle is knowing that, hey, I got a home to live in. I got a vehicle to get to from job to job. And I got a future and an opportunity that I'm trying to invest in.
Right.
Because we as men, we expect, especially family men, we want to have a legacy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what my uncle was telling me. All my uncles was telling me.
Yeah.
Invest in your legacy.
Yeah. No, I could dig that. I could dig that. And when you say a man, do you I guess it's kind of a debate on like the masculinity of a man, like like what's the man's role in the dynamic of the relationship or the family. I mean, what's the man's role? What's his purpose?
So a lot of people think or project that it's always being a provider.
Right.
That's hands down. Yes, you wanna be able to provide.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't tell you need to be a listener.
A listener?
Yeah. Because a lot of stuff goes above our head because we don't listen. A lot of men don't listen. You know what I'm saying? When you listen, that provision comes because it's wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And being able to serve, be it in your family, be it for your community, kids, when they see certain things, when they see that you provide, yes, they see that you listen, they take those tools and they think, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. He knows what he's living for. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, bro. And like I said, I know we're approaching a little bit close on our time, but I got to get this question out because it is prevalent and it is something that needs to be addressed. And I would like to get your intake on it. Uh, the interactions with police officers are not, they're not favorable right now. It's a big distrust with the police officers, and and it's starting to show itself more and more because everything being recorded, right?
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, how do you advise a young man to handle an interaction with the police officer?
So you always stay calm. You know, you always try your best to stay calm. A
Mhm,
lot of people think the first attack of a police officer is that they're going to strike first,
mhm,
you know. And the first thing that we do is run. We
mhm,
shouldn't always run because
mhm.
that gives them advice of saying, hey, that he's already automatically guilty.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? And not saying that all police officers are right or wrong. It's
right,
just that we shouldn't run when we think, hey, this man don't know me.
right.
We gotta know, like I said, our community, where
Mhm,
we coming from. You see a lot of, crime in an area and
mhm.
you think, all right, this area it's not bad. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
You get some based off of where you are, what city, country, whatever. And it's
right,
like it's bad, it's not bad.
right,
Every level of thinking of a police officer as bad or disgraceful. Because
right,
you got some people, that actually love the community that they come from,
right,
that police officers protect.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. And with that, and you're right, like I say, that is not all bad apples,
Yeah,
it's a few, that take things a little too far. And those are the people those are the main one I'm concerned about when we talk about how they engage with them. You know what I mean? Because it's like, what do you do when you're gonna take a L? You know what I mean?
right,
Regardless, what do you do?
right.
And so another issue, I guess it's a level of respect. So like growing up, we was always taught, respect your elders, right?
Yeah.
So, but I guess the question now is, do you feel as though like the elders, do they disrespect the youth? Are the youth more increasingly disrespectful towards the elders? Like how is that? How is that, the narrative now? Like what do you think?
It depends on the upbringing. Cause a lot of people, like you said, when they see elders,
Mm,
back in the day, we used to think, hey, help that older lady across the street.
yeah,
Help that lady across the street, help her carry her bags or whatever.
yeah,
A lot of kids, you thinking vice versa, because it's like you look at the elderly person and they look at the black male,
mm,
oh, he's sagging.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's
yeah,
not always the case.
mm,
The level of respect is a two-way street.
right.
When you got people on the same street, hey, good morning, how are you?
Yeah,
We don't speak like that all day. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Being in the army, you know how it is. The
yeah,
first thing when you greet somebody is customs and courtesies,
right,
greeting of the day.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same in the civilian sector. And when I meet somebody, be it my elder,
Mm,
I respect them, not just because they're elderly.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? I respect them because of what they've been through and what they
okay,
can teach me.
okay,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Just as much as they probably can learn something from me.
hmm,
You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's a two-way street.
yeah, yeah. I dig that. I dig that. And so it's basically like you're saying, like just respect should be given. But if respect is not received, then what? Do you just stop this? You stop. You start. Like if you're disrespected, if the tit for tat. How does
No,
that work?
you don't. I mean, because a lot of people think that you reciprocate. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? You give it to me because is owed to me.
Right.
No. In any instance, everything is earned. You get a receipt. When you buy something, you purchase something, you get a receipt for it.
Right. Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
You respect me, I respect you in the same terms.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know how I am. I
Yeah.
tell everybody I love them, regardless if I don't know you or not.
Right.
It's just some people think it's awkward,
Mm-hmm.
but the way I was brought up, love your neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Treat them as you want to be treated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You black, I'm white, whatever the case may be. I love you because God called me to love you the way that you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So just because I wear a badge or I
Mhm.
wear a military uniform, don't mean I'm against you.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
just because I respect that doesn't mean that I'm against you. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, so my purpose is not to convey violence. My
Mhm.
purpose is not to condone the fact that I wear this, so you need to immediately respect me because I'm a man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I did that, and yeah, I get where you coming from, man. And like I said, with your walks, you're right. I mean, you're right, man. It's a lot. It's a lot towards that giving and receiving, and a lot of people, I guess, the gripe is now because we're older people. We're the older people now. You see what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
so like we have a short fuse for disrespect. Like
Oh yeah.
it's just weird. I think like we gave so much respect growing up to the elders on face value that we grew up and we kind of just like, hey, and these kids they don't do the same. So we kind of like, well, look, if you want to talk sideways, I'm gonna talk sideways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we got to be
And
bigger people for that. You know what I mean?
the thing was, we not saying that we were raised any differently, but our
Right.
parents didn't raise no fools.
Yeah.
They didn't raise us. They didn't raise us to get walked over and
Right.
walked
Right.
upon.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? A lot of people nowadays, respectively, you can see on the news,
Mm-hmm.
these people are getting walked upon.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's they giving out just saying, hey, just walk over me. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's like, yo, man, generations have changed
Yeah.
because we getting older.
Yeah.
It's not that we're getting older to become wiser. We're
Yeah.
getting older because the new 40 is the new 20. That
Uh-huh.
don't make sense. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ain't no 40 the new 20, no 40 the new 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I still do the things that I used to do,
Mm.
but certain things I can't do anymore that I used to do.
Yeah.
Certain things because my mental and my physical,
Yeah.
my emotional, my spiritual, it
Yeah.
it all plays its part. But I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm not going backwards to try to go forward.
Right. Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like you said, you talk smack, I don't need to talk smack back to you.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My actions are different,
Yeah.
you know? And that's what they think. A lot of people think that because we're coming from that type of community.
Right.
Our community came from yo, just because I say yo, don't mean I don't understand you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My
Yeah.
yo means, hey, take a break.
Mhm. Yeah.
Take a break. You know what I'm saying? Relate to what I'm getting ready to tell you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because what I'm getting ready to tell you is getting ready to sit you down to educate you,
Mm.
to give you a reasoning, not an explanation, but a
Yeah.
reasoning to say, hey, you're here.
Right.
I need you to come down here.
Yeah. Bring that down. Yeah.
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 Because right now you got people that's up above their level that think they higher than where they should be.
Right.
And I'm like, nah, man, you gotta bring it down.
Yeah.
You gotta bring it down to where it's respectable level
Mhm.
that it's unsatisfactory. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. And
You
when
know,
you talking about up here and bring down here, you talking about the adult, like they need to humble themselves, or you talking about the kid, like he's 2 or 8 and he's like, hey, you need to take a step back, analyze the
both,
situation a little bit better because you
both.
up there, I need you to calm down because yeah, you know what I'm saying?
It's both. Like
Yeah.
like I said, it's
Mm.
both
Yeah.
because you have some adults that'll sit up there quick to give up on a kid.
Oh,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying?
Yeah.
And all that kid wants is respect.
Hmm.
But at the same, that adult wants to respect, but he don't see where that kid is coming from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
don't realize where we've been. You don't know where we've come from to
Hmm.
get to where we are right now.
Hmm.
And a lot of kids just sit up here and think, well, you think you know it all.
Hmm.
No, experience is the best teacher.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Experience is always the best teacher.
Yeah.
I'd rather tell you now before you know that you're gonna fall.
Right. That was up. That was up. Well, look, bro, we running on our time. I wasn't able to get through all the questions, and
Okay.
I'm hoping that if I invite you back in a few weeks, you'll come back and continue the conversation.
Hey man, I'm down for it. I'm down for it. And hopefully bruh, the minimal distractions that I had to, because you see me feeding the
Yeah,
kids and everything,
I
and
see. I see.
bruh,
But no, I get it. I understand you're in the process of moving. I get it.
yeah,
That's why I say I appreciate you stopping in. I know the situation. I know what's going on. But
yeah.
at the same time, I do want to leave you a little time. Like, if there's anything that we didn't go over today, there's something you want to piece of advice you want to drop out right quick, or there's something you want to say to the nephews, go ahead, man.
Man, we gonna keep this up. We're gonna keep this, like I said, this podcast, we're gonna keep this vision that you had, we're gonna keep it up
Mhm.
because we want to be able to see the insight of what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Not just what I'm giving to you as jewels or whatever,
Mhm.
but this is information for everybody that needs to know because we're
Right.
going through it and we're not doing it by ourselves.
No, no. Yeah, man. Well, I guess, man, we go link back up with you. And like I said, when the kids, if they have any questions, of course, I'll get back up with you and we can have you back on and you can address those questions for them. But until
Okay.
then, bro, I appreciate you, man. Always love, bro. I'll talk with you soon.
All right, Uncle O out.
All right.